So it's been about a year since the last time we got the chance to talk to you. It was at Ohayocon 2017. How have you been since then?
It's actually been quite a year. There's been a lot of roller coasters, up and downs. I started my first several regular TV shows, which has been really great. But I also had sort of moved management and that sort of came to the climax in the summer. And while everything is super great and everybody's all friendly, it was quite an ordeal to move offices.
Yeah.
So, but now everything's stabilized. I've got another regular radio show coming out. So things are great and stable. I love stable.
Alrighty, and now in our last interview, you had mentioned that anime has become more accepted in Japanese culture, and it's also becoming more accepted here in America as well. So how's it like being an American, living in Japan, seeing it there, and then coming to the States and seeing it here be more accepted? So what is that for you?
It's insane. I remember growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s where anime just wasn't well known, and in Japan it was sort of seen as childish or something creepy people like. So growing up with that sort of image that anime wasn't something that was accepted was kind of rough. But now that everybody's all super cool with it, that's awesome. So I'm really happy because that will only make more creative, awesome things happen, and it will only get more and more interesting from here on out as we get more people into the fray. Because the more ideas and the more input happens, the more creative output we will have. So I'm really excited to see the sort of mixing of culture, and I'm also excited to see so many different kinds of people coming together, parents, grandparents, adorable small children, adorable small children there, playing on their awesome DSs. So there we go.
Alrighty, so now in our last interview, you talked about being signed to a Japanese label. You have bring to a certain magic or motivation to the Japanese people. What's it like to pitch yourself to them when you first got started in the music industry? I mean, that's kind of a big deal to have an American be doing Japanese music, and that's not a typical thing. So, what was that, being able to bring that magic to them?
It was almost impossible to do so. So as you mentioned, it's not really typical. I think currently there's 2 or 3 of us in all of Japan, and over a long period of time, there have been a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds. Actually, we've got Brazil, we've got a whole bunch of people, and this has been going on since the 70s. But generally speaking, it was very specifically they would do their own sort of country style just in Japanese. So you would get soul singing in Japanese, which I think is wonderful, but it's also kind of interesting to be a person that's coming at it from a perspective of I sing in a Japanese style in Japanese, and sort of what that means to sort of the evolution of music in Japan, as well as the evolution of what is possible for anime fans all over the world. So yay! But as far as pitching it went, really difficult, because they were kind of but why? and I would have to be because I like it. And you sort of have to come up with a reason that it has to be you and no one else. And that was interesting because there's a lot of diving and sort of, soul searching. And I think it made me a better person with better motivations.
Alrighty, and so in our last interview, you talked about doing some dub work in Japan. So how did it go?
Went super great. So I did basically last year was a year of experimenting with a bunch of things. I couldn't talk about it or give titles, but I was able to do the official anime English dub for Gunvolt, Azure Striker Gunvolt, and that's available for download from the Nintendo Store. I think we're trying to get it on other places as well, but for now, Nintendo Store. I've also since done Bomberman and a few other, mostly games, in English. And then as far as Japanese goes, I've actually had one Japanese role, and that was for a drama CD called Sisters. It was a computer thing where all of the systems were sort of gijinkified, and I was DBMS, so I'm really good at retrieving data. Yay, nerd jokes.
Nice. So also while in Japan, you first got there, you met a few fellow Americans that had come over for different reasons and things like that. What was it like to have a little bit of a small community from home to help you get over that jump coming from America to Japan?
Honestly, it was vital because as a foreigner coming to Japan, you have no network, you have no point of reference, and in Japan, network is everything. So having somebody there that can sort of vouch for you, be hey, this person's not an axe murderer, is really, it's really important. And I would say a lot of the people that I know in the industry are actual friends of friends, or 6 degrees of separation from those original group of foreigners. And not all of them work in the anime industry. I would say most of them don't, but some of them do, either as animators or as writers, or as promoters, that kind of thing. But what's most important is just having somebody there to sort of help you get started. Like for me in particular, she currently works at Nintendo, but my senpai, El-chan, I don't think she'd like me to say her name, but she sort of helped me get settled in. She introduced me to her own friend groups. She sort of brought me into her world. She bought me bread when I was hungry. Like, just like having somebody like that is really, it's very vital, and having that community of anime fans all over the world, it's wonderful. And I hope to be able to do the same for someone else.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. So again, we know about pesky NDAs. Are there any projects you want fans to know about at this time? Again, I understand you can't talk all the time about what you're doing. What are some of the potential projects you have in the line?
I can actually talk about most of them. Depending on when this airs, I'm just going to say everything, and we can cut out some parts if it doesn't work for the airing time. So for things that I can definitely talk about, I've got a stage play, my baby's first stage play, coming up in April. It's the last week of April, and this will be with Tanaka Mayumi, who you might know as Luffy from One Piece, as well as a whole bunch of other really cool people, like actors from Japan's like top theaters and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm in there. Like they were like, you seem interesting, let's put you in. And it's the first time I've ever done it, so I'm really nervous, but I'm also really excited because Tanaka Mayumi is also a fantastic singer, and I'm hoping that we get to have like a little singing part together. And it's not a musical or anything. It's just a whole bunch of cute little skits, mostly comedic, but I'll be doing karate, I'll be probably singing, and I'll, try my chops in acting. I'm also going to be doing Magna and the Mysterious Girl, and that's do you know about it?
I know that one, yeah.
I'll be doing a recurring character. I don't know if I'm allowed to say her name yet, but we're just about to record it, but I'm definitely in the cast. So Magna the Fushigi no Shoujo, I'll be doing that. And that's going to be voiceover, probably some singing as well. And then I'm also going to be doing Animini in Minneapolis. That's in May, so that's another American convention. And then for things that I'm not sure if I can say quite, but it depends on the date, as of February 20-something, I'm allowed to say that I will be the host for Kisoego 1, which is a daily radio show in Japan where I sort of teach introductory level English to Japanese students, and it's been going for over 50 years. It's got a huge legacy, and I'm really excited to be doing it. And I'll also be continuing with my regular show, Ego Focus, which teaches Go, the basics of Go, and we're actually going into the sort of like mid-game now, so I'll finally learn how to win, maybe. Because currently, I've gotten stronger, but I still lose every time.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that, and I think otherwise I've got lives coming up all the time. I'm looking at a lot more stage plays and a lot more vocal work as well, so yay!
Alrighty, now how can fans keep up with you on the internet, first and foremost? And then secondly, what message would you like to give out to all the wonderful fans that have been able to keep up with you on the your journey from America to Japan, Japan to America?
You can always follow me on Twitter and my official Facebook. If you search Diana Garnet, it pops up, and so that's all you need to do. If it doesn't have a check mark next to it, it's not me. So make sure you've got the check mark. I think Facebook is also official, so go ahead and look for that. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you know. I don't. And I'm working on trying to get my Instagram officialized as well. I've got an Instagram. Everything's kind of cross-posted, so if you see one, you'll see them all. But those are the three major ways I do it. I also will answer people, not so much on Twitter, but on Facebook. So if you message me and if it's just thank you, I might not answer, but if it's a question about whatever your dreams are, I will definitely answer. Anyway, definitely keep up with me there. As far as message goes, I would say that I'm really just excited to see so many people here from last year. I'm always excited to hear updates on how everyone's doing and their plans for the future. And if there's anything I can do to help, even if it's just advice or cheering you on, I'm more than happy to do so. Just and of course my Japanese fans that also dream to be in Hollywood or something like that. That's always exciting when they're like, oh, you could come and be a silly anime song singer. I can go to Hollywood, and I'm like, yes, you can. So I'm so excited for the world to get closer and more multicultural and more accepted, and it's gonna be great.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for coming out and talking with us, Diana. Thank you so much.